3 white gold dress Pateks. And I just want to take some time to just show you guys real quick. But we have a beautiful 5146. So there's a really good price point watch. You get an annual calendar for like a fraction of the cost. What I like about this is it's got a power reserve indicator too. I'm a big fan of power reserve indicators. I really hate, especially when it's a manual wind. This isn't a manual wind, this is automatic. But one thing I don't like when you have a manual wind is when you don't have a power reserve, because it's really hard to tell like where your power reserve is at. Unless the movement's skeletonized enough where you could see the hairspring, it's really tough to really know how like wound your watch is. So I really appreciate a power reserve. I think especially on this one that's automatic, it's just a nice thing to know. And with this one, you do get a moon phase. It's an annual calendar. I love the date wheel that it has in it. It's just super sharp. And then this one's supposed to be a white dial, but it's kind of like patinaed over the years a little bit. It has a little slight tinge of a cream color, which is just beautiful. I think this watch, especially because of that moon phase, would just really benefit from like a navy blue strap. I think it would look really, really nice so that it matches the next ones we're going to talk about. And so the next one we have is this beautiful world timer chronograph. One of my favorite references. I just love the blue. This thing is a little bit thicker too, which for me, that has a bigger wrist. So I have an 8.5-inch wrist, guys. And so for any of you guys that have a bigger wrist, if you've ever wanted a dress Patek but are always concerned about how small they are, it's still a little smaller on the circumference side, like just overall dimensions. It isn't the biggest watch, but with dress watches, it's really not supposed to be super, super big anyways. I think that this works, and I think with the height of it, it gives enough presence. I honestly would wear this. Really cool watch. Still small enough that for you guys that have a smaller wrist, you don't have to be all that concerned, but just one of my favorite references in general. And then last but not least, we have this gorgeous 5205. So this is gonna be an annual calendar. The way that they've designed this dial is just super nice. You get the clear, visible windows for your date, day, and month. And I just think that that just works really well. You also get your moon phase there. I love the way that the dial, it has that kind of gradient, really highlighted blue in the middle, and kind of goes to a really dark navy on the edges. Another real nice part of this watch that I love is I love the design of the lugs on the side. I think that the lugs were just beautifully sculpted. This particular one is a 2023 example that we just purchased today. Actually, this gentleman just flew in. He's actually going to be buying a perpetual calendar Nautilus, and he wanted to use the funds for that purchase because he's buying it from the AD, and we were able to purchase this thing. He'd been communicating with Derek and Andrew. He was very happy with the transaction. I think we got a good deal on this. Good enough that I think whoever's going to buy it is going to get a good deal. And one thing I really love about sometimes buying on a secondary is that some of these guys already bought the deployant for the particular watch. And so this particular gentleman, he's an avid collector. He went ahead and did the right thing, which is to purchase the deployant for this, because unfortunately with the 5205s, they come on a tang buckle normally. And so I think with such a gorgeous watch like this, honestly, any of the Pateks, I mean, even this one comes with the deployant. It's not the Snowflake, which is my favorite one, but the fact that it has a deployant speaks volumes, I think, for these watches. It just elevates the overall experience of ownership. I just really love the deployant. I hate tang buckles, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite thing. So the fact that we have it here, so the price for the watch that we have on the website, it's not going to include the deployant because we did have to pay for this separately in the deal. But if you did want to buy the deployant for it, we do have it available. But these are some beautiful dress Pateks. So if you're in the market for a dressier piece, something that's not too big, and you love annual calendars or complications or like world timers, this trio would be a really nice collection. Maybe because there's 2 annual calendars in here, maybe you would want to do something different. So maybe like a 5235 would be a good option. But between those 3, let's say even between these 3, I want to say it's going to be less than 120 grand, because we have this 5146 for 29.5, I believe, maybe 30 grand. We have this world timer for, I believe, 49, maybe 50K, somewhere around there. And I know the 5205, because this is fresh on my mind, we're going to have at 47. This is a 2023. So altogether, that's about 130K. But for 130K, you could have 3 amazing dress Pateks, which I think is pretty darn nice. If you were to replace the 5146 for a 5235, then you would be more at like 150. But those 3 great references for 150K, when some of these alone go for about 80K retail, That's pretty nuts. So definitely a good collection to have. If you guys are interested in these 3 pieces, visit our website at www.woven.com.
Let me go grab those for you. And then just keep taking a look around. I'd love to get you into the open work skeleton AP sometime. I will pull it out. It's in the back, I believe, right now. I will pull it out so you can see it.
I'd love to.
Its box is in here, but it's getting studio photos right now. So let me grab that along with yours.
Perfect, thanks, man.
You're welcome. Dude, this thing is another level.
It's unbelievable.
It's
the way it shines, dude. The way it glistens in the light. And just like
the
incredible.
Yeah, the deeper like black against the rose gold.
Yes.
Is
the contrast.
And then of course just the skeleton of it.
The texture of it. Beautiful.
Absolutely, but man, it's like, you know what you were talking about with this one? Where you're like, remember when you did it?
Yeah.
When you get that'll be your next. Remember when I did it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that watch is, 100%. I love that.
Yeah, man.
All right, here's gonna be...
A Patek is in text, in all reality. Like, that's...
Which one?
I don't know.
Or dress, sport. That's the Nautilus, it's sport. And because it's on the bracelet like that and in the case, that's the 5726. That one is deeply sought after.
Yes.
And that'd be a killer piece too.
If you were there with the suit, no one would say a damn thing.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
So let me know what you're looking to get into next. Guys, that was Chris, and you may have seen Chris before in a prior episode, but he came in, consigned a few watches with us. Today, he came in just to take a look in passing at these 2 right here. We're looking at open work skeleton AP. Absolutely love this watch. In fact, it's probably my favorite that we have in right now. And he contrasted it a little bit with the 5726 Nautilus from Patek because to him, this is the next watch in his lineup. And it's kind of like his next I Made It watch. The first watch he ever bought was a Deep Sea. He wore it a lot, enjoyed it, and he's like, you know what, I can never sell that watch. I'm gonna hang on to that watch even if one day I went broke. I'm hanging on to that watch to remember the day that I first made it and pulled the trigger and got myself a luxury watch and got myself my first Rolex. Well, I was telling him, man, like this piece right here, the open work is gonna be your next, hey, I made it piece. Remember the year that I bought the open work AP. For him, he said he's tempted by it, but his gut is saying probably his next I Made It watch is gonna be a Patek sports model. So he's keeping his eye on it, and hopefully you guys will be seeing more of Chris soon too.
Let's do this. Let me know if you will be lucky enough to find a John Mayer, which is 2023.
Okay.
I prefer to trade in my Royal Oak Grey Dial and my Bronzo Panerai 2022, never worn, and perhaps Black Dial Rolex,
Daytona.
Daytona.
Okay, I think I can structure something like that with you.
The only reason why I bought that AP because every time they come, I just buy it so that there will be no negative on my end. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I don't want them. Because my goal is to get my skeleton. So I'm gonna be.
I have one in store right now that I can sell you.
No. I'm gonna get it from AP.
Okay.
Direct. From my AP.
Sure.
I was promised already that I'm second in line.
Okay.
So hopefully before December. It's not that I don't care about this Royal Oak Grey Dial. To me, this is not special. And then the Panerai Bronzo, I paid like $18,000. For whatever reason, don't ask me why I bought it because that's stupidity.
No, I get it.
My Black Dial is 2022.
Your Black Dial Daytona, so of course that'll be the now discontinued reference. I definitely think we could work something out on all of those. Got an inquiry today. He's looking potentially for John Mayer that he's wanting to collect. He mentions that he's a collector, but he's the type of collector that doesn't really wear his watches. So he wants to make sure that he's getting into watches that, first off, he likes, and then also ones that he feels that are gonna be really good in the long term. So I think he's on the right track. He is wanting to trade a couple watches and get into that new equity, I would say, and get rid of some of the other things that he doesn't really care for as much. His goal is to get one of the John Mayers, and then I suppose from his AD, he might be actually getting the double balanced skeleton, which we happen to have in store too. So far, we're just trying to come up with some numbers and see what kind of deal we can structure for him.
Wait, who just sold this Air King? Dang, somebody just
Price dropped it.
Bought it off the website?
Yeah, somebody just bought an Air King right off the website.
Let's go! So literally, that's sick. So Dennis calls me today, and he's like, hey, I want to get my Air King moved. Let's drop this price. And he drops it by $300. I said, we'll do, and we're gonna try to push it. He's like, yeah, I wanna move it and move it quick. So we drop it from 89 to 86, and I told Caleb, let's do some social media and post that price. Literally like 30 minutes later, bro. This was like 30 minutes to an hour. Somebody sees the 86, buys it online, just like that. That's really cool. So good for Dennis. He's gonna be like, dang, that was a good move.
It's always fun to see our clients get excited or we sell their watch.
Yeah, no, he'll be really happy.
Yeah.
Did you buy it? Was that you?
But that was us last month.
Sam just bought an Air King. Hey everybody, what's up, Woven fam? I get the pleasure of reviewing a really, really iconic watch for Rolex. It's at the top of the list of the Daytonas. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the 116506 Platinum Baguette Daytona. This watch right here is a hefty watch and it's absolutely gorgeous. This particular one in my store is 2023 mint condition complete set. As you can see back here, you've got box and papers with it. This box is the extra large from Rolex because this watch is deserving of it. The Platinum Daytona was first launched in 2013 for the 50th anniversary of Rolex, but it was not discontinued since then because it's too good of a watch to get rid of. And as you guys know, they came out with a new reference of it last year as well, because this watch is probably gonna be around in production for a very, very long time. But this is the original, and in honor of their half-century anniversary, they came out with this beautiful chocolate and icy blue contrast Platinum Daytona, which we're gonna take a look at some of the details of today. So let's start out and just take a look at the alloy here of Platinum. Rolex makes their own alloys, and what you can see already is that this is extremely bright. So when you're dealing with steel Daytonas, any steel sports models from Rolex, it's gonna be very, very bright. When you move into the, say, a white gold Pepsi, something like that, they're gonna tend to have more of a warm hue, which I kinda like because it hints towards this is a white gold watch. When you deal with the Platinum, it's gonna be that stark white, super bright alloy from Rolex themselves. When we flip it over, we can take a look here just at the Oyster Lock clasp. So basically it's a single fold clasp that locks in right here and has that Oyster Lock over the top of it. But even when the Oyster Lock is undone, this clasp does not come undone without pulling back right here on the little spring release to be able to get it free, which helps just for added safety, keeping it secure. And taking a look at the case, the Daytona is one of the thinnest cases for the sports models of Rolex. It's 12.2 millimeters in thickness, which is part of the reason I really love the Daytona. Plus, the curves of the case with the lugs is extremely sleek, fits the wrist really, really well. And when you take a look at the bottom of the lugs, they also cut it off flat underneath each lug, which helps it to be able to sit really well just on the outsides of the wrist. So the case design for a Daytona has always been fantastic. This one is no exception. It's the exact same sizing as a regular Daytona, just holds a lot more of that weight. Now let's take a look here over at the crown system and the pushers. So something super unique here for Rolex is that if you look at the dots underneath the crown are two large dots on the outside and one smaller dot in the center. What that means is that this is a Platinum watch, but also it's a trip lock. So there are going to be 3 gaskets underneath that are helping with the water resistance. It's water resistant up to 100 meters versus a twin lock, which had 2 gaskets. And that was the older version of their water resistance screw down crown. You also have 2 screw down pushers with this watch so that you have to unscrew them for water protection before you can actually use the chronograph. It also, in my opinion, just makes this beautiful aesthetic on the side of the Daytona. And it is iconic. One of my clients that you guys have seen on previous episodes buys as many Daytonas as he can because he ultimately just loves the look of the chronograph with the crown and the 2 pushers on the side of the Daytona. He loves it. And I'm with him. I agree. I think it's an absolutely beautiful look. When we take a look at the back, if you look at the case back, this is not an exhibition case back like the new 126506 that they came out with. What this does is it creates more mass to the watch, which a lot of people enjoy when they're feeling it on the wrist, and it's a little bit heftier in general. And now when we take a look at the face of the watch, we're gonna look at the dial, the bezel. Starting with the bezel, They came out with this beautiful chocolate brown ceramic bezel, which again is extremely durable and scratch resistant. Also acts kind of like a guard, a protector, and all of the markings of the tachymeter scale that are on the bezel, which help to be able to, with the chronograph, determine the speed of something going a particular distance in kilometers. Well, all of these markers are actually platinum deposited, which is beautiful detail. I love that it's filled with platinum on the platinum watch, and it helps them to pop out very, very clearly. The contrast between that beautiful chocolate brown bezel and that icy blue dial, which is only reserved for platinum pieces for Rolex, that contrast is so strong that you can see this watch from a mile away and know exactly what you're looking for. Now, another detail though about the dial is that in this particular one, because it is baguette diamond markers, you can see that the outer rings of each of the subdials are icy blue. So it's a monochrome icy blue look. Instead of having the outer rings of the subdials match that chocolate brown of the actual bezel. On the stick dials, or the stick indices, those ones are gonna have chocolate brown outer rings for the subdials that match the bezel. But whenever you see that solid icy blue dial, you're dealing with a baguette dial for the platinum. If you remember the differences that we spoke about here recently in one of our episodes between the 1-1 reference Daytonas and the 1-2 reference Daytonas, because this is the previous reference, it does not have a platinum casing around the outer bezel, and it won't have that crown underneath the 6 o'clock. The hour markers, in this case baguettes, tend to be a little bit thicker, and the subdial rings are also a little bit thicker. If you like that bolder look, then the 1-1 is actually a really good way to go. One thing to note about the icy blue dial is that over time it actually has gotten more and more saturated, which is a personal preference. I love a little bit more contrast and a little bit more of a saturated look. So the icy blue pops really, really well on these watches. And the hands and the hour markers, if you're dealing with an indices instead of a baguette, are all gonna be white gold to prevent oxidization. But I love the way that they fit so perfectly with the rest of the watch as well. And now let's talk about the movement. The movement on this watch is gonna be a 4130 caliber. It's 4 hertz, 44 joules, and it's bidirectional winding. It does have a vertical disc clutch, which is going to help prevent a lot of the wear and tear when running the actual chronograph. The pushers have a very punchy feeling when you are actually engaging the chronograph, so it's a great feeling to use. This movement is also shock resistant. Not only is it shock resistant and water resistant, but it's also anti-magnetic. So they have overlaid the overcoil hairspring with an alloy that is anti-magnetic. So this watch is definitely a powerful piece. And can you imagine, because a Rolex Daytona, typically in steel, is what is awarded as the winner's gift to the winning driver of the 24-hour Daytona race. Can you imagine if they started giving these bad boys out as the gift for the winners? I'd probably sign up to drive, even though I don't know how to race like that, because this thing is absolutely worth it. This watch is another level. Now here's something really cool to mention just in closing. The price of the brand new 126506, if you're trying to get into one of those, is gonna be in the 125, 130 range right now. But if you're looking at the 116506 here in my store, 2023 mint condition, complete set, box and papers, you can get this watch for 100K right here in my store. So for those of you who really like the 116506, come on in and take a look at this watch. We'd love to show it to you. Give us a call here at Woven, because there's nothing quite like a platinum Daytona, and getting one for 100 in my store is one heck of a price. So give us a call here at Woven. We'd love to see you, and let us know in the comments down below what you think about this watch.
So we're here today with Dakota. He came in, he was looking for a watch to add to his collection. He has a Submariner right now, looking to add something like a little step up of that. We settled on this right here, the Root Beer two-tone. This is a beautiful watch. Gonna be able to dress it up, dress it down. Super versatile, classy looking. I think you picked the right one. First purchase at Woven, first of many, I'm assuming. So yeah, we're excited for this.
I enjoy it, man. This place is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Being a woodworker, I really like everything they've done. So, who was it you said that did it?
Our dad did most of it, yeah.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is a beautiful watch, man. I'm super appreciative.
Absolutely. So Dakota was a walk-in today. He got a very beautiful watch. I'm very excited for you, Dakota. I think this was a great addition to your collection. I know he's looking at some other stuff. We looked at some Yachtmasters, Batman, Batgirl, some of the stuff that he really wanted. So for now, he got the root beer, and I think this is a great addition. I can't wait to be a part of that journey for him. We got his watch here all wrapped up, ready to go, cleaned up.
What is sick?
That says for you.
Dude, I got like real meaty hands, so it's difficult. And a tiny wrist. I think it's perfect right there.
Okay. So then right there, I have it snapped in. If you need it looser, like if your wrist starts to swell up throughout the day because it gets hot or something, then you have that adjustment to snap it out. And then for the mornings when you put it back on again or something, you can always snap it back in.
Two-tone, you gotta check these guys out.
Woven luxury timepieces.
This guy has been incredible. I walked in absolutely filthy, and he didn't care. I did go change, obviously, to look a little bit better for this video, but I walked in filthy, not looking like somebody that's perfect. These guys do not care. They are for the people, and obviously have incredible quality. AP Royal Oaks, that is Audemars, whatever, ever. Dude, this is all over. 18 million Rolex in here.
Whatever you're looking for, we have your Italian military style Panerais, we got your bread and butter Omegas, Rolexes, everybody knows Rolex, we got AP, Patek, Richard Mille, whatever you guys are looking for, from $5,000 all the way to $100,000. If you want to buy a house and a watch, we got it for you guys. So whatever you're looking for, we're here.
So I'm for 12 because you don't sell these, and you got a carrier.
Andrew?
We talked to you, brother. I just paid $20K. Be nice. Sell it to me for 12 because it's torn and you haven't been able to sell it.
It's 12. That's the one I paid for.
What you pay for it?
1,500.
Because you took a loss on you, I have to.
I'm not taking a loss. I'll sell it to you for what I paid. Yeah, I'm losing $100.
Oh, they do. 14.
15 is best. You know what we can do?
What does everybody else do in the watch business? Flip.
Flip a coin?
So 15, 14, 1,500, 1,400.
It's so funny, we actually don't flip that often, but I think we've flipped in probably the past, we've probably flipped like 4 times in the past month.
Or we could throw this up. Black and white.
Yeah, there you go.
We could do that too.
So I'm gonna call it white for 14.
You're gonna call white for 14?
Yeah.
That's white.
What is it?
It's white.
Thank you. Nice doing business.
Appreciate you.
Congrats, man. Absolutely, brother.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Towards the end there, if you guys missed that, he ended up buying a bag for his wife because he can't come home empty-handed. So he bought a bag for his wife, and he got a pretty good deal on that too. Got the coin flip in there for you guys. It's always fun. We got a new client. I'm sure he'll be back, and I'm excited for the future.
Christian killing the game. That we wouldn't be able to guarantee it tomorrow, so I'm not going to overpromise and under-deliver. When we could guarantee it would be Monday. It's all right. We are here for our clients, and both of these guys I appreciate very, very much. They're just very, very precise, very detailed. Basically now with Wasim and Adam, 2 brothers that can sign some pieces with us, and actually we gave them some buy offers on those pieces, and now they're taking those buy offers after some negotiation process, all this stuff, kind of in the nick of time for what they needed. We're going to be able to get those pieces secured, all 3 of them, just make sure that they have the peace of mind for closing the transaction, and I think we'll be good to go. So let's do some paperwork.